economist. Free speech under attack. And you know that freedom of the press in Malaysia has gone down. I don't know, go down by what? Chairman, you remember?
The ranking didn't go down, but the score is...
ranking went down, I think so.
Ranking
146.
Oh, see, the same.
yeah.
146.
Because other countries do also very bad.
Very badly, but 146, the score went down. Score went down by how many points? I don't remember. But here we talk about freedom of the press, free speech has gone down. This is the latest one by the Economist. I think this cover shows very well what happened when we talk about free speech. Free speech has actually gone down. And I want to refer to the, I would say I'm very touched by this report made by Mustapha Kamil. Any reporters here, have you read his blog? Who has read his blog? Except for Chiang Ming. Who else? You are? Who else? Opoli? Have you read his, who else has read his blog? Daza? Ada baca? I would say 90% of the reporters have not read what he wrote. That's why I want to highlight this, because I'm very moved by what he has written. Very moved because, I mean, there are still journalists like him, even though they work for NST, they are willing to resign on the point of principle, but at the same time, I feel very sad because journalists like him are getting less and less. And how many true journalists are there left in Malaysia? I think this is a question that everyone should ask themselves. I'll read what he wrote. My dear friends, Mustapha Kamil, the former group editor of New Straits Times. Straits Times not here lah, hari ini. Straits Times tak ada. Since I still receive numerous private messages inquiring why I opted to leave New Straits Times, I now relate to you the final moments before I tendered my resignation from a place I had until then treated as my second home. On the morning of April the 25th, I walked into the CEO's room with my resignation letter in hand. We sat and talked about my wish for a good 1 hour, where naturally the CEO inquired why I had wanted to do so. The CEO is a chartered accountant, a man who took his job very seriously, one who is adept with numbers, and besides hating the company, someone whom I had also considered a friend. In those rare occasions, when our time permitted, we did battle on the golf courses. There were two things I related to him that morning. First, just as he, a chartered accountant, would not hesitate to qualify a set of flawed accounts, signing each of them only by his name, but also by the ethics enshrined within the professional body in which he was a member. I too take journalism ethics seriously. In my line of work, there is this element called the truth discipline. The truth discipline. It is one that requires a journalist to be correct, right from the spelling of names of persons or places to all the reports he must file. His responsibility is first to the truth, by which he must then guide society in navigating the path he had chosen. Second, I told him that I had weighed the situation for as long as I could, but when an American newspaper headquartered somewhere in Lower Manhattan in New York wrote a story that got nominated for the coveted Pulitzer Prize about an issue that happened right under my nose, I began to seriously search my conscience and ask why was I in journalism in the first place. We had a cordial discussion that morning, and the CEO fully understood my predicament and the fact that there was little else that I could do. In my 27 years of being a journalist, I never once subscribed to the saying that if you can't beat them, join them. In this line of work, there is no such thing as a path of least resistance. You have to stick to your principles. around the world, an average of 110 likers, pay the ultimate price each year to get the true stories out. When you say pay the ultimate price, that means they are murdered. 110 journalists are murdered each year. At the very least, I felt that as a journalist, I had to honor the sacrifices they had made in abiding by the discipline, the truth discipline, telling the truth. I hope that answers everything. I'm trying now to embark on a new journey, but will still give my all to this beautiful nation where I was born and where I will probably be buried one day. I mean, I never expected a journalist to write this. Truth discipline requires a journalist to be correct, especially in reports he files. Responsible first is to the truth, not to his bosses. Second, after this American newspaper, we know why it's an American newspaper, isn't it? I'm sure it's a Wall Street Journal. Got nominated for the coveted Pulitzer Prize. About what issue? That happened right under his nose. One MDB scandal. So I do not know how many journalists follow Mustapha Kamil, searching his conscience and asking why he was in journalism in the first place. That's why I think it is we admire those reporters, people like those in Malaysia Insider, Jahabar, those in Malaysia Kini, who are willing to stand up for the truth and willing to speak up for the truth, and of course pay the ultimate price. In other countries, they pay with their lives. In Malaysia, the ultimate price, of course, they pay with their jobs and even, of course, going to prison because they want to uphold the truth. Now, this is the holy month of Ramadan, and I think in this holy month of Ramadan, these are values that perhaps we should also remember, as exemplified by Encik Mustapha Kamil. In these dark times, where here it says free speech under attack, we are very uplifted by a journalist like Mustapha Kamil. Even though he worked for the New Straits Times, he never allowed New Straits Times to change him. He refused to be part of the game played by New Straits Times, a game of lies, deception, and deceit. He refused to play the game of New Straits Times of deception, of lies, and of deceit. Of course, delusion also. And that's why game of the delusion, deception, and deceit. And of course, he was willing to pay the price by resigning so that he was not a piece of their game. He was not a piece of their games. And he can hold up to the principles of journalism, the truth discipline, and not sell off his principles. I just want to record my respect and that he has indeed shined a light in the dark. Perhaps I can just mention that what Plato said, and I think that would serve very well. That is not a shame for a child to be afraid of the dark. The real tragedy is when an adult is afraid of the light. Mustapha Kamil has shown that he's not afraid of the light. In fact, he has shined. He has sacrificed to shine the light. Any questions? I just want to pay tribute to Mustapha Kamil. At least there are journalists like this that we can be proud of, who refuse to sell out their principles. Okay? Any questions? Semua sunyi saja. jarang ada berita yang rela berkorban macam ni. Lebih lagi daripada NST. Philip, you're no longer NST, I'm not referring to you lah. But I think for your former boss, it's something that is, you saw his piece, isn't it? Very moving actually. And I read it, I was very moved by it. Not very many people willing to sacrifice everything like that. I know he is not afraid of being blacklisted, so blackballed and blacklisted. And he wrote it out like this. Something that I think all journalists should feel something if you read it. If you don't feel anything, then something is wrong. Okay.